Thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for your patience. This is Joanna the medium, and these are going to be readings for the month of May and June. They are coming late. I had some personal stuff come up. I had a loss in my family, and I was also hit with this energetic shift that made me feel, let's just say, discombobulated. So when that happens energetically, it's an interesting thing to go through, but it renders me not as effective when it comes to connecting. So I had to honor myself, and I had to honor my guides, and I needed to stay back a little bit and just allow this to pass through. The month of April and May have been quite challenging, to say the least, for many people. It has certainly been challenging for me. My understanding is that we were going through a massive energetic shift that has brought up a whole bunch of stuff to surface. So this would have affected differently to different people, but I am sure a lot of you were affected by it. So for me, it's coming to the end, but it has certainly not been an easy time to say the least. The month of May and June readings, or the month of May and June, are interesting because they felt very transitory to me. There is a lot of change in the air, and this could be because it's an after effect of the energetic shift. Most of the signs, if not all of the signs, are going through a lot of changes, transitions, a lot of endings, but also starting new beginnings. So very interesting to see. Almost every single one that I was doing had a component of ending on some levels, and endings are not bad. Endings just means that we are done with it. Our soul is done with it and says, okay, I want to experience something new and something different, something much more something bigger, and it's time to leave some things behind. So be prepared that the month of May and June, or whatever is remaining in May, you may actually have experienced some of this in May, but because it's coming out a little bit later in May, you may have already experienced this, or you will experience this in the remainder of May and June. So just be prepared that some of the energies might still feel a little bit shifty and slightly uncomfortable, not bad necessarily, but slightly uncomfortable. But I am being told that we're almost done with this energetic shift, and it will not happen for many years to come. We'll have little shifts, but this was quite, I almost said expensive. It was quite expansive and expensive on the energies, or on my emotions at least, for sure. Of course, these are general readings, so please listen to them. If they make sense to you, great. If not, listen to your moon, rising, or your other signs, or sun sign. And of course, if you would like a private session with me, that information is down below under show more section. I would be more than happy, honored to have a session with you. I think that's all I want to say. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for all your wishes. A lot of you have written to me asking if I'm okay, and yes, I'm okay, but it was challenging, to say the least. But thank you all so much for your concern. I truly appreciate it, and I am back on a regular schedule, and that's all I want to say. So again, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Without further ado, let's get started. Hello, beautiful Aquarians. This is going to be a reading for May, or remainder of May, and the month of June 2017. When I was connecting with your energy for the sign of Aquarius, I kept seeing the number 10. Number 10 to me signifies ending of a certain cycle. Ending could be relationship, ending of a struggle, endings. I see endings in the month of May and the month of June. For some of you, it's going to go as far as July, but it's going to concentrate mostly around mid-May to the end of June. The moment I hear the word endings, or I say the word endings, I have a slight discomfort in my throat. Whatever it is that is ending for you, for some of you, this is going to be around relationships. And I'm seeing the number 9, which also signifies to me end of a cycle, ending a chapter, moving on to a new path, moving on from an existing path. the word endings comes up. So 10 and 9 is what I'm seeing. Now, some of you may connect something with the month of September, or something might have happened in the month of September. Some of you may connect with 9 months, something with the period of 9 months. But 9 is significant to me in a way that it signifies ending of a certain situation. Some of you, it's going to be an ending of a struggle, something coming full circle, a situation coming full circle. For some of you, it's going to be jobs. There is a need to trust here in the month of May and June. And again, I'm hearing some of you July as well. But the ability to be forthright with yourself and also with somebody else is very, very important. The other word I hear is don't let yourself get away with your thoughts, meaning don't let your fears, your anger, your resentment, or any other feelings that you have that are frustration take a hold of you. And particularly when it comes to endings. Now, some of you, this is a good ending. Some of you are moving on to a brand new chapter, and you do actually have a Fool in the spread. And it is a significant aspect of your life. So it's job, health, or relationship. For some of you, the ending may be less comfortable because it signifies, although it is stepping up, as far as your path, you're stepping up to a better future. It is, what's required of you is a lot of trust, a lot of discipline. And one of the words, the key words that kept coming up was discipline, particularly when it comes to the mind. So being disciplined with your thoughts, but disciplined with your emotions. I see a lot of fire. There could be, most likely will be for many of you, if not for most of you, a lot of fiery energy, and this is often accompanied by anger and resentment. And I feel for those of you who will have a lot of anger or resentment, or things are going to be bubbling up, it is to do with ending certain situations. Some of those situations that you have been in have been unfair, and some of the endings seem to be unfair for you. For those of you who feel there's an unfairness that is experienced on your part, please know that whatever is happening right now, there's a hesitation around the ending, but whatever is happening right now is a temporary, almost like a temporary step backwards. But he says, please be assured that in the next little while, in the next upcoming months, you not only will you see yourself out of this situation, but you will also see the conclusion of this particular chapter of your life as something that is very meaningful, and certainly something that was very necessary. For some of you, you are ending a repeating chapter or repeating pattern. You have been repeating a pattern for quite some time, most likely in relationships, some of you around jobs, but the repeating pattern is coming to mind, and some of you are ending that pattern. For some of you, I actually feel you're ending an addiction, or you are contemplating either quitting drinking, excessively smoking, or anything that has an addictive type connection to it. And we'll talk more about health in a minute. Discipline with your thoughts, very, very important. Discipline with your mind. But most importantly, not letting your emotions get the best of you in the month of May and or June. Okay. Now the card, all of this is the month of May and June. Although there are endings, it is actually allowing you to build a brand new foundation for yourself. So sometimes we have to leave something in order to establish something new, and that number 4 to me signifies, in this case, establishing a brand new foundation, a firmer foundation. And this could be foundation around relationships, this could be a foundation around work and or health, or all of the above. But certainly it's not going to apply for all of you on all these areas, but many of you will be touched in a specific way as far as endings in the month of May and June. And some of them, remember, they're not bad endings. They're actually good. Some of them are celebratory. Some of you may be finishing school, and May, June are actually where graduation typically takes place. So some of you will be graduating school. So that's certainly an ending. And the next chapter starts again with the energy of 0, which is the Fool, which is brand new energy, and there's a need to direct this energy. But the number 10 is very significant here. 10 is also month of October. Perhaps some of you do connect with the month of October in some specific way regarding to the situation that's ending. And for some of you, it's just will not mean anything. Now, the overall energy card we have is authority. Card number 4. This is the number 4. And I believe in the traditional tarot deck, it's the Emperor. Because the card is shown to me in reverse, it is saying to me that, well, the words I hear is be yourself. Most importantly, in the month of May and June, you are really urged to be yourself. But being yourself doesn't mean that you have the license to go ahead and get angry. Sure, frustration will happen. Being yourself means speaking your honest truth, being honest with yourself, being honest with others in a way that does not compromise your position or position of somebody else. In other words, I also hear the word deceitful. So if there is an ending happening in your life to some extent, and you find yourself feeling angry or resentful because you may not like what's happening, be yourself, be honest with the other party, be honest with yourself, but stay away from making unnecessary judgments and unnecessary comments that may be hurtful to the other person, just to make yourself feel good. Because this particular card in reverse signifies someone who's quite rigid, inflexible, someone who is over dominating, over controlling, not really not overly concerned with somebody else's feelings. So again, discipline around your mind and discipline around your words and your emotions is very, very important in the month of May and the month of June. The card that represents the chakra which needs the most attention for you in those 2 months is the solar plexus, and it's again shown to me in reverse, which says to me that, and that solar plexus is where your power is, where your confidence resides. It's also the chakra when it comes to creativity. Because it's shown to me in this particular way, and because of the other card, I feel like you're going to be triggered in that part of you or in that area. You are going to feel unbalanced. You are going to feel triggered. You may also feel very undermined with regards to your confidence. And I'm also getting a slight discomfort in my throat. So something is going to be either said to you, or you will be experiencing something where your confidence may get a bit of a shot. How else can I say it? You'll feel undermined. Okay. And because of that, there might be a tendency for you to get very fiery and come back with retaliation, with words, out of anger and frustration, to even out the field, so to speak, to make yourself feel good. But it may not be the best course of action. And the proverbial statement comes to me, or the phrase, don't burn any bridges. That's really, really important, particularly if it's a situation with a job or career. If you are being let go, obviously this is going to be disappointing, but and for some of you, it's being let go as a discipline. So maybe some of you are getting fired. This is obviously not going to apply to all of you, certainly not even many of you, but some of you. Point is, if you find yourself on the way out from a particular situation, business-wise, you will definitely have a tendency to retaliate with words or something that way may resemble backstabbing. Please don't do that, okay? Yes, it may be unfair. Yes, the judgment may have been done in a way that made you feel very undermined, mistreated, or you feel it's very unfair. But also please know that there is something better on the horizon. And if you were let go as a discipline or for discipline or as a disciplinary action, please learn from your mistake, whatever that is. And I believe I'm speaking to maybe 3 of you or 3% of you, not very many. Point is, your confidence will feel very much undermined. For some of you, this will be a situation at work where somebody is going to say something and so you're going to feel like you're being backstabbed. The way to deal with it is to be the bigger person. Certainly voice your truth and your opinion, but please shy away from trying to stab somebody in the back or in the throat or in the heart in order to even out the playing field, because that will not serve you long term. You do not want to be that person. Okay, I feel a lot of fire in the month of May and June. For some of you, by the time you hear this, it may have already happened. And again, this is not going to be for majority of you. It's going to be very, very few of you. So that's the overall energy. But he's asking me to remind you that the number 4 that I kept seeing, and also the number 4 that everything adds up to, is about creating a brand new foundation. So if you are losing a job, if you are leaving a relationship, if somebody else is leaving a relationship, or if you are ending a certain cycle, and if you are not too happy about it, just know that there is something better on the horizon, and this will allow you to build a brand new foundation for yourself, a foundation that is much stronger, much firmer, much more intelligent, he says, and also one where you will have the ability to build your life into greater heights. Wherever you have been and whatever is leaving you or whatever you are leaving has made you stagnant to some extent. And when that happens, the universe will gently pull a plug if we don't do it for ourselves, because it's the equivalent of saying, you're done with this. It's time to move on to something else. And oftentimes we get too comfortable and too secure in order to leave a situation that isn't necessarily the best. So the universe will gently push you forward, and sometimes not so gently. Okay, so that's the overall energy. The card that signifies relationships is the card number 4 again. So stability. I hear the word contemplation, but it's stability. I hear just relax. This is just breathe. But I hear the words just relax. For some reason, I need to say the words, just let yourself go. Just let yourself go. And I just want to understand a little bit clearly what this means. Some of you in a relationship, there seems to be a challenge around trust. Whether it's something that you've dealt all your life, or it's something that's just coming up, or it's something that's being triggered. There's a challenge here for some of you with trust. And because of it, I feel like you are looking at making decisions. This could be deciding whether you stay or whether you go. This is deciding whether you leave a certain situation or you keep the door closed. I don't know what that means, but that's how he's asking me to say it. The statement about just let yourself go, for some of you, it is to the ability to let yourself be more relaxed within yourself. I'm going to show you this card again. There is this woman here, and this is, let's call it, I see it as her spirit, and she is holding hands with her spirit, or with her soul, so to speak, you can call it that way, in order to truly allow herself to be true to herself. Now, because this is a number 4, it signifies to me, again, trusting yourself more to do the right thing, and trusting yourself that not everything always has to go wrong. For some of you, there seems to be an element of you fearing when the next shoe is going to drop. Whether you are single, whether you are in an existing relationship, or you are connecting with someone emotionally as a friend, best friend, or whatever it is, the context of trusting and not trusting is being brought forward. And I hear, just relax, just allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to go, let yourself go. Feeling trustworthy is very important, of course. I want to see why he's saying this. Trusting in yourself is the biggest component of this. So for those of you who have challenge with trust, it's not so much the other person. I mean, yes, other people can trigger it, but this is coming from within you. You might want to look at aspects of yourself and ponder where the mistrust comes from, or lack of trust, where it comes from. Some of you, I hear the word mom. Maybe something happened between your relationship and your mother where you learned very early on that you can't trust those you love. I also hear the word abandonment. Some of you may have felt abandoned when you were quite young. And whether you actually physically were abandoned, or you were not emotionally nourished or taken care of the way you would have liked when you were young, the feelings of abandonment seem to stem from an early age. And for some of it's as early as 3. For some of you, maybe you had a mother that has left you when you were around the age of 3, or something happened around the age of 3 or 4 where you have felt abandoned. Sometimes when we have a sibling that come into our lives, we will and we're the first child, we will feel pushed aside because the attention doesn't go on us all of the time. All of a sudden, it's now divided into the younger sibling. So you might want to ask yourself where the lack of trust comes from. Yes, it is from other relationships, but it comes much deeper than that. Much, much deeper. Some of you had a parent who left when you were quite young. This is now 3 or 4. So we're going down to back to a very early age. You might want to contemplate where that comes from. The reason why this is coming up is because this is time for you to relax and not feel like you always have to be on guard. When you are always on guard, you are always waiting for something to happen, and 9 times out of 10 you will look for things to confirm to you or to prove to you that something in fact is happening, where it may actually not be the case. You are just projecting your fears forward. So this is some deep emotional message that is being brought forward in order for you to look into and contemplate and ask yourself, okay, is this, why am I like this? Why do I always feel this? Why do I always feel afraid of losing someone or being discarded or pushed away? And I have this feeling in my throat again, where in some instances you will have difficulty speaking up, speaking your truth. And for some of you, this is going to stem from, again, not feeling good enough, but also not speaking your truth for the fear of being discarded, left behind, or abandoned or rejected. Okay, so this is some internal stuff that's being brought forward for you to contemplate. And remember, the energy around May and June is endings, and that also signifies ending certain struggle within yourself, ending certain way of relating to the world in a certain way, ending the way you relate to yourself, and therefore how you relate to the world, and vice versa. So the endings can also signify, and it often does, ending a cycle mentally. Now remember what was said at the very beginning: pay discipline around the mind. Our mind will create a whole bunch of scenarios in order to make us feel this way or that way, or in order to protect us or not protect us. So whatever comes up in the month of May and June, and if it is to do with rejection or not feeling good enough in a particular in a relationship, you might want to look into where it stems from, and then see how you can work with it in order to help to transform it. Because I feel a lot of you, well, at least some of you, are projecting your fears forward, and they're coming back to you as your proof. And that is nowhere to live. Living in anxious state all the time because you're not sure if you can trust is certainly not a way to find contentment within yourself. Okay? So that's about relationship. Very not specific. Well, I'm not going to say not specific. It's a deeper message. Now let's move on to finances and wealth and career. We have the card called Find Balance. So this is a card of, to me, well, find balance. It is the Pentacle card. It's the earth element. So it certainly is about money, career, and abundance. You understand. I hear the word choices and decisions. Some of you are on a threshold, it's an interesting word, of making a choice or a decision with regards to your employment. Some of you are wondering or pondering, should I stay, should I go? Should I stay, should I go? Some of you are really, what's the word? I'm seeing pulling finances. So you really are focused on finances. And I want to see why he's showing me this. What he's saying here is, for those of you who are workaholics, it's very important to recognize when your work is getting ahead. No, if your work is getting in the way of your life. Because, of course, money is important. We need resources. But when your entire focus goes towards working and making money, you will very quickly find yourself in a vicious cycle of constantly working towards something you're trying to achieve, but then not having any time for the enjoyment of what you are achieving. So that's a very important message. Find balance. I'm going to show you this right away. For some of you, one door is closing, one door is opening, or one door is closing because one door is going to open shortly after. Some of you are literally leaving one place of employment and moving on to another. And for those of you, it seems to be like a very lateral move. And again, that's endings. If you are leaving your place of employment, and you're starting something new, that's certainly endings, and then certainly new beginnings. I see a lot of one, energy of one with regards to finances and career, and that is planting new seeds. Some of you need to stop procrastinating when it comes to money matters, and I want to see what's the procrastination about. My guide says, just do it. Just do it. So this could be in many different situations, but if you've been sitting on something and wondering, should I or shouldn't I? Or if you've been writing things down and making notes and making plans, and you're really good at making those plans, but nothing ever comes of it, the message is just do it. Now, this is not going to be obviously for all of you. This is going to be for some of you. And you will recognize the message when it's meant to be for you. And this is with regards to growth in the career and finance sector. Okay? Some of you are choosing where to put your money aside, whether it is certain financial institutions or a certain project you are going to invest in, and you are contemplating which way should your money be going. And then I hear the word split decision. So some of you are indecisive in which direction to go when it comes to a financial commitment or financial commitment. For some of you, this could be around work, where you are deciding what would be better for me. Some of you are looking to change a career, and the message is here. There's more ways than one to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So if you are looking to express yourself in a certain way, know that I'm going to say it differently. What he's telling me is that some of you are looking for fulfillment within a career and you're not getting it right now. There are different ways of achieving this. Some of it is through hobby while you figure out your next career move. For some of you, for many of you, most importantly, it's figure out what the feeling is that you are after. So in other words, if you are looking to find a career that fulfills you, but you don't know what that is, you just feel something is missing, what you want to look into is you want to ask yourself, how do I want to feel? What is the feeling that you are after? And it could be different. There are different feelings for different people. Once you intuitively get the feeling, once you are clear what the feeling is, then ask yourself, what are some of the things that you can do to give you that feeling? Okay, that goes either for career move or it goes towards hobby, which if you are content with a hobby, it often makes an unsatisfactory job situation that much more digestible for the time being until it changes. Okay, some of you, money's changing hands. And what does this mean? Some of you are buying a car, and I think I got that message in another sign, so maybe check your other signs. Some of you are bargaining. You're bargaining to get a better deal. For some of you, that's what's coming up. Let me see if there's anything else. I see pile of money for some of you. So this indicates to me that you are saving towards something. Either you are saving towards a trip. This is something bigger, towards savings or towards RSPs. Maybe you are putting money away towards RSPs, and I think that could be the season, or you are putting money away for retirement. There is planning going with this, and it's looking at choices and making decisions. This could also be for some of you with a decision regarding the financial institution and where you invest your money, your long-term investments. There's a contemplation there. And that's around money. I think that's all I have regards to money. Now, the next card is regarding health. And the card is the Fool, or trust in this particular deck. However, because it's shown to me in reverse, I hear the word reckless. Okay? Reckless, risk taking too much risk, taking unnecessary risk, being haphazard with your health, making decisions that are foolish with regards to your health. And it's shown to me as the card is addiction or devil, which to me signifies overuse or abuse of substance. Now, whether it's food, whether it's a behavior, whether it's drugs, whether it's shopping, whatever it is that it's used in excess, becomes very unbalancing and reckless. There is a message in that to pay attention to that in the month of May and June, particularly in those 2 months, because of a lot of endings. And with endings, particularly when they're not feeling so great at the moment, frustrations and anger will come up or may come up, which may trigger some unhealthy or reckless behavior. in order to numb the feeling or deal with the emotions. If you are prone to drinking, if you are prone to excess of anything, the month of May and June may trigger those challenges within you. So please pay attention. I also hear the words, I feel like I'm drowning. This is not drowning in water. This is drowning in my emotions. So if you feel in the month of May and June that there is a lot of inflexibility, you feel there's no flexibility around you, you feel very inflexible, or there's life around you feels very inflexible. If there's a lot of an anxiety, and remember, one of the cards here is just relax, just relax. If you feel like you can't trust, if you feel like you have all these decisions to make and there's all these endings, please, please, please make sure that you don't deal with it in a way that's going to cause you potential problems health-wise down the road. And you will know exactly who you are. For some of you, I see a drink and you're drinking way too much, or there's a tendency for you to numb your emotions, soothe your emotions in a way that is unhealthy. For some of you, it's smoking, and I don't mean just cigarettes, although that in itself is, not healthy. If you are smoking weed, I'm going to say it, just make sure that you are, be sure why you're doing it. I mean, obviously, if you smoke weed, it's because it feels good, but there's a tendency to overdo something or overuse something, and this is particularly when it comes to substance. That can come up for you in the month of May and June. I'm also being taken to somebody's head. If you have a headache in the month of May and June because of a lot of stress, there are stressors in life, I see you popping pills. Please, 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 if you take a lot of medication, please don't mix it with alcohol. Read the labels very clearly, because I hear someone and feel someone is taking prescription medication or drugs, and they're mixing it with alcohol, and that's a bad combination for some of you. Probably bad for any of you, but some of you, I think you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay, some of you are on medication, and he says to me heart. Some of you are on heart medication, and please make sure you don't take anything else with it, like maybe excess alcohol or anything that could potentially have negative side effects, particularly because it's combined with your current medication. So this is a bit of a warning for those of you, and I don't like saying things this way, but when it's given to me, I have to say it, because if it saves you from a hospital trip, then I've done my work. And I hear the word Xanax. Some of you are either taking medication. Xanax, I believe, is antidepressant and also anti-anxiety. If you are taking Xanax, or if you're taking any kind of prescription medication because of stress, depression, or anything like that, please watch your alcoholic intake. And that's being shown to me very, very clearly, because for some of you, it is a really, really, really bad combination. Okay. So I don't mean to scare you guys. I know all of you, most of you you're pretty, you understand, you're pretty, what's the word? What's the word? You understand. I lost the word. You take care of yourself. You understand what is being said here. You're very responsible. Thank you. So most of you, 99.999% of you, are very responsible. But there's a message for some of you, and I need to say it. And it needs to be addressed with some of you. For some of you, this may be a prolonged type thing that you've been doing, and you're really being asked to watch this. Okay? And I think that's all I have. So listen to your other signs, because it may offer you some other information that will kind of soothe this particular reading, it isn't a bad reading, but I do sense that there is a lot of frustration in the month of May and June. Now, I myself have experienced a lot of energetic shifts, so the energies we were dealing with in April and May were not pretty, and I can see how this may come out and manifest. And I think that's all I have. It's a bit of a longer message. I hope this made sense. If you would like to comment, please do. I read every single one of them. I love reading them. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing, liking, and subscribing. If you would like a private session just to see how this connects with you, because this is general, please, that information is down below in the show more section. And I wish you best of months for the remainder of May and June, and I look forward to seeing you in July. Take care.